Hello everyone, my name is Henry Corpman. I have nothing quippy to say in the beginning. As a Zoomer, I have rarely listened to every single song in an album. There were always a couple of songs which I will not listen to, or I'll even listen to just one song in an album. Cardiac Counterpoint is one of those 5 albums I have ever listened to, or I have listened to and liked all the songs in it.
Hi, Editing Corpman here. So I vividly remember Flavor Foley's first album being Cardiac Counterpoint, not Contrepoint, which is French for counterpoint. So I feel like I hopped dimensions, but just know that anytime I say cardiac counterpoint, I mean to refer to the actual name cardiac counterpoint. So just know that. Also, I didn't say who's in Flavor Foley, so I just wanted to get this out right now. Jamie Page, Vonne, and Rice Deity are the 3 people who made Flavor Foley. Go check them out. Their links are in the description. And yeah, back to the show.
The other 4 being A Real Good Person in a Real Bad Place, Hope Left Me, Peer to Peer, and CPPC. If I were to rank each album in a tier list, I would put Counterpoint around 2nd place, just below Death Rocks but above Astrophysics. Sorry, WebCage and various artists. Of each song in Cardiac Counterpoint, one of my most favorite is the song and music video we are going to be analyzing, being Water the Roses. Created by the hit indie 3-piece Flavor Foley with art by Eddie, it was published to the public in January 3rd, 2025 and was made the 5th track of Flavor Foley's debut album Cardiac Counterpoint, with each song pertaining to a certain kind of love or romantic connection, whether it be flirtatious, unrequited, cannibalistic, or robo-erotic. I will be making an assumption in this video, that assumption being that you watched it. Seriously, watch it. I'm not going to be recapping it, and I will be skipping a lot from the middle to the end to the beginning to the end to the middle over and over again, making connections where there probably were not any. But something something, death of the author, something something. The link to the music video is in the description and in the card in the top right corner. I also will not be talking about the music itself all that much. I will be talking about the lyrics, but I know nothing about music theory to make me go, holy hell, that harmonica is a symbol for divorce, because I do not know the symbolic use of a harmonica or whatever is playing right now. I will also cover every seed packet or named plant and what they might represent. However, I am not a plantologist or a chronic PVZ2 player, so if I do not know the name of the plant shown, for example these 2 in the first verse, they are dumb and stupid and I hate them.
Oh, nigga don't hate me cause I'm beautiful, nigga. Maybe if you got rid of that old yee ass haircut you get some bitches on your dick.
One small thing I must add is that I am a young jellyfish. I have not been married, nor have I been in any recent relationships. Divorce is a complex topic and is not something that I think I might ever experience for a long time. Any opinions or conclusions I arrive at are purely based on what I have seen from the music video and from what I have researched, as well as personal bias. If you think I am wrong about something, tell me in the comments and I'll leave a pinned comment with the corrections. Oh, by the way, if you are watching this video in the future, check the pinned comments for any corrections. Please do not assume what I say is true outright. Okay, enough wasting time. Let's talk about the phrase I love. One of the themes hinted at both in the lyrics and in the music video is the want for one of the partners in the relationship to admit their admiration for the other. We see this inclination to express affection within the first second of the video. The first 3 letters of the first 3 flowers shown to us, Ivy, Lily of the Valley, and U, have the same letters as the abbreviation ILY, which is short for I love. It is important to note that these 3 flowers are toxic, both on their own and all together, implying that the connection our Euro couple has is toxic in nature. I'm going to kill them.
I guess it can't be helped. It's just a matter of when do you think she'd notice if it never blooms again. As my roots grow tangled, letters routing on red, I just close my eyes as I get stuck within my head.
real quick, huge thank you goes to Anarchist 2. They were able to find all the flowers in the music video, which makes my analysis much easier. For the sake of simplicity, we will call the person with green hair Gumi because that was the Vocaloid used to make this song, and we will call this person in the yellow sundress Rose because she has a rose for a head. Also, something I want to say is I like the start of the pan out on Gumi's face here as the intro lyrics play. It is a very
You're probably wondering how I ended
got
up
into
in
this
this
situation type vibes, especially as the intro music plays afterwards and it zooms out to show the two holding hands. Anyways, let's look at the first half of the intro verse. We see in the intro verse of the song that divorce has been a long time coming to this couple, mainly reinforced with the first half of the song where Gumi treats the idea of the marriage falling apart with apathy, connecting it with the second half of the first half of the intro verse. Gumi's love is symbolized as a blooming flower, or in this case, one that will not bloom. Flowers that don't bloom are caused by the flower not being properly taken care of. Connecting it to her accursed couple, Gumi believes she's not being loved enough in the marriage, therefore she herself begins to lose interest. Gumi continues seeing herself as a plant as she talks about her own roots. Tangled roots can occur on plants when they are either in a very small garden or they reach the edges of their pot. Either case, the plant's roots will still want to grow, and with no other direction to go, the roots begin to move backwards, tangling the roots in on themselves and choking the plant, causing it to stunt its own growth or even die. This is called root bound, and the name of this plant condition sounds like it's from a video game. Oh hey look, it's coming out in the same year as GTA 6. Take notes, Jason. One detail I find most people do not talk about is this song's connection with poetry and writing letters. Gumi later refers to her heart eloping by prose, sonnet silent blur, 3 small words, and 8 small letters. We will talk about it more later, but this line implies that Gumi has either tried to reach out to Rose and she is not responding, or she received letters from Rose and Gumi is not responding. Once we get to the first verse, I will put more detail into this one. The last 2 lines help us begin to put into mind where all of this is taking place, in Gumi's head. So immediately from this intro verse, we get the feeling of giving up from Gumi. Her voice gets higher and more emotional on the letters rotting on red part, but everything else her tone seems dejected. We do not know who started the divorce, or why, or what they did to try and save the marriage. It could be implied that Rose started it because Gumi felt unloved, as with the "do you think she noticed if I never bloomed again" bit. But this song is written entirely within Gumi's perspective. We don't know who Rose is. All we know is their gender and the color of their skin. Did they do nothing? Did they try everything? Who knows? Honestly, it doesn't matter either. We'll continue down this music video with the idea that both Gumi and Rose tried everything to save the marriage, but in the end, they could not. Neither side could tell the other how much they love. We see a giant poppy seed out of frame on the bottom left of the screen as the credits roll. Just gonna let this play. Ever since World War I, poppies have been a symbol of remembrance. This is Gumi remembering the marriage, and the butterfly on Rose could symbolize that she is long gone. We'll talk about that later. The 3 fateful flowers, or plants, show themselves again before a crumpled up paper with a violently splashed black ink on the side appears. I'm not a plantologist. Which one of you produces sun? Let's listen to the first verse.
Late nights alone, the sapling prays to grow, to see it through the phone, through paths unknown. My heart it looks but rose. Hello, awarded best in show. My inky flows, and we're running circles again. I wanna plead for anything to prove this bone complete. I've come to see that if it's between you and me, words won't get through to anyone lost in the flower.
First off, the first 3 lines right after the first one are describing the metaphorical future that Gumi was hoping to have with Rose. It could also be implied that the marriage was new. Prose is a form of writing with no rhythm or structure. An example of writing that is not in prose is this song, or something like "to know what's right, to know the way, to know what's good and still go astray." Basically, if you can't put MF Doom music over it, it's probably in prose. Eloping is to run away with someone, usually with the goal to marry them. Combining it with Gumi's heart, it also implies that the marriage was spontaneous and that both sides might not have been fully ready for it. I skipped to see you through the phone because I wanted to wait to talk about it until here. Connecting it to the visuals of the music video, Gumi is trying to write a letter to Rose explaining her feelings. This is also the reason why the lyrics appear as they do. It is Gumi trying to find the words to tell Rose how she feels about the marriage, but is unable to find the correct words. However, I have a bit of a theory. Gumi is trying to connect with Rose through writing, but she is not a writer. She is a gardener. She probably is unable to properly tell her feelings to Rose because she is communicating in a medium she is not used to. Why won't Gumi just talk to Rose? I mean, she's right there. Is she stupid? On the subject of writing, I find it a nice detail that Gumi is struggling to put her thoughts into words, and at the same time, the paper of the two is torn down the bottom, signifying the separation and that the letter might not do anything at all. There's also a petunia seed packet near
Rose inside,
and a zinnia seed packet on.
Gumi inside.
Petunias are a flower which represents deep resentment and anger. Now, there are several meanings on this, and honestly, I'll let you pick. Is it 1. Gumi is trying to put her thoughts of resentment on the letter, 2. Gumi is showing resentment, or 3. Rose is the one who shows resentment. It's possible it's a mix of the three, since we know no one is exactly in the right here. With the zinnia flower, it was used in the Victorian era to remember friends who have been away for a long time. It implies that Gumi also feels Rose is distant in the relationship, which is supported by the fact that we, as a viewer, do not know anything about Rose. The rest of these flowers can all die for all I care. In the next two shots, we can see Gumi alone and then Gumi and Rose, both lying down. Both scenes use the same drawing of Gumi holding Rose's pinky. It's a pinky promise, if you will. You know, marriage and all that. In the first shot, it's Gumi on her own thinking about her marriage with Rose, shown through because she is looking at the pinky promise and her expression isn't a happy one. The appearance of Rose in the next shot is to show the divide. Paper torn in half down the middle of the paper, telling us what we've analyzed before. One small thing before we move into the pre-chorus, there is an alyssum seed packet on the bottom right corner of the video, just invisible to the first viewing. It is opposite to Rose, not connected with the paper, and close to Gumi. It symbolizes worth beyond beauty.
Hello, I am Cable Regule from the Hidden Cable Regule. I am here to correct Corpman's mistake. There are two other seed packets here. The one on the top left is a petunia seed packet, and the one on the top right is a poppy seed packet. We already covered these two, but I will add that, yes, me, Cable Regule specifically, that putting the two together and combining it with the paper tear down the middle, it could imply that Gumi is remembering why they split, or are currently splitting. This is especially enforced through the lyrics, where Gumi is coming to the realization that words alone will not save their marriage, or anything will save their marriage.
It's only 3 small words that I'm desperate to hear, but I can't be certain if you're always nowhere near. If the sun grew cold, proving all that I fear. If I had your blessing, then it all would disappear.
In the first pre-chorus, we can see what the worn-out plea is in air quotation once again that you cannot see. Unlike a lot of the video, the pre-choruses lack a lot of visual flair. They're also some of the quietest parts of the music video, making me believe these pre-choruses are the most down to reality and the closest we have to the least exaggerated thoughts Gumi has. These thoughts specifically are pertaining to a certain phrase commonly heard by couples. What they are, we'll never know. The reference to the sun being Rose connects back to Gumi's flower analogy, both to herself and to the marriage flower analogy. The blessing being the sun shining down on the flowers, or in this case, Rose's confession would be enough to make their love bloom again. Let's hear the official first chorus.
But I feel so stupid cause you feel the same. And when we water the roses, I can trust you to stay. So here I lay neath the shimmering moon, just a lot struck fool. What do I do but wait for you?
Later on, the word but is replaced with the word and this distinction is important. Later in the music video, Gumi begins coming to terms with divorce, which is why they later say, and I feel so stupid, instead of, but I feel so stupid, because right now Gumi is expressing her frustration, still believing the marriage could be saved. I really like the shimmering moon line since it connects back to the pre-chorus where Rose has represented as the sun that Gumi wants to be there but isn't. The first and second verse mention the time that Gumi is singing being nighttime. The love-struck fool line also connects back to the sapling line in the first verse, once again hinting at the spontaneity of the marriage. The final line hints at the separation, that Rose isn't there anymore. The letters Gumi is writing, while she denies it herself, are going nowhere. Before we continue on with the second verse, I want to look at the visuals. First off, the tear down the middle makes it look like Gumi isn't holding Rose's hand, it looks like she's holding up a worm. And also that this is the same illustration from the beginning of the video. The motif of the paper torn down the middle isn't new to us at this point, but since this was the very first scene of the two, their relationship was part of their initial identity. Now the very core of who they are has officially been torn apart, and it will keep going downhill from here. There are 3 new flowers here: Everlasting Pea on Gumi's side, Canna on Rose's side, and tulips in the middle. Everlasting Pea is a symbol of everlasting love, ironic for what this song is about. The canna is a symbol for hope and confidence, and the tulip has several meanings, but the one that I feel fits most is the symbol of rebirth. I say this is the most accurate one because, unlike Everlasting Pea and Canna, which are hiding behind Gumi and Rose respectively, the tulip is the only clear flower shown. Besides these stupid things, which I can't be bothered to find out what they are, both Everlasting Pea and Canna would be symbolically appropriate for a good relationship or marriage, but we know that this just isn't the case. Both think they can move past whatever caused them to tear apart, but in the end, only the tulip is fully shown to both. The only way through is from away from each other. The middle flower shown in this next flash of 3 flowers is changed from Lily of the Valley to Mignonette, which, unlike the other 2 flowers, isn't toxic. This changed the titular ILY to IMY, which stands for I miss you rather than I love. It also implies that missing the relationship and the marriage as a whole is the right step forward rather than what Gumi wants, which is to hear the thing. You know, the thing.
Late nights inert, rehearsing every word unheard. A silent, silent blur, and sure it hurts. This finger discovered in dirt, I'm still digging for a lot. Return to sing the sordid verse.
I love this second verse. The second, third, fifth, and sixth lines telling us it's Gumi trying to remember a time when Rose said that thing where you say that you really like someone deeply. However, this second verse implies that Rose might have never said it at all. Gone with the flower motifs, Gumi is just metaphorically digging through the dirt to find if Rose ever said it to her. It's actually really sad. Fun fact, the first ever Vocaloid song I listened to was Copycat by Volca Circus, although I'm more of a Kasane Teto guy, but Gumi was what originally got me into Vocaloid all those years ago. Anyways, about the visuals. Before we transition to the second verse, we were briefly flashed with a crumpled piece of paper. We also got flashed with a crumpled piece of paper before the first verse, but that one is more important and we'll talk about it when we get to the final chorus and outro. The crumpled piece of paper that flashes us before the second verse, I believe, is to be Rose herself. Not the full Rose, but like verse Rose, the version of Rose that appears in the verses. This is the midpoint of the song, and already Gumi is beginning to let go of the torn pieces of Rose. It also makes sense since this entire second verse focuses on Gumi entirely, as she herself digs through memories of her relationship. In the first verse, there are specific we's and you's and me's, but in this second verse, there is no we, there is only these. The fingertips assumedly belonging to Gumi, and this Gumi, she got hands. Holy crap, look at her go. God damn. I'm down.
Hold on now, I'll fix you.
Thanks, coach.
Better.
Hey, whoa, hot damn, look at that. Killing the jockey. My game crashed. In this second pre-chorus,
It's only 3 small words that could make me run away. Moving soil like mountains for a chance of brighter days. But the 8 small letters never show me their grace. Kiss a rose or push daisies and the sky's forever gray.
the first line references the phrase I love.
The fourth line
Is Gumi acknowledging that saying whatever is supposed to be said to Gumi might not actually save the marriage. Gumi is coming to realize this. The final line, kiss a rose or push daisies under skies forever gray, is Gumi beginning to acknowledge that Rose, who was previously symbolized as the sun, won't appear even if they somehow move past what caused them to separate. hence why the skies are forever gray. In Genius.com, contributor Hitori Sama said that to kiss a rose is a metaphor for a transformative love that brings light to the dark, whilst pushing daisies means to die. This means that Rose could fix the relationship by saying what Gumi wants to hear, or not saying anything and let it die. It didn't involve the skies forever gray part, but it is a good insight into what those metaphors mean.
And it feels so stupid cause you feel the same. And when the water the roses, I can trust you to stay. So here I lay neath the shimmering moon, just a lot struck fool. What do I do but wait for you?
At this point, Gumi is near the stage of giving up fully on the marriage. Despite holding Rose's hand, Gumi's expression seems to acknowledge the distance between the two, both physically and metaphorically. As stated before, the first chorus had a but this one has an and, to show that in the first chorus, Gumi was beginning to think that the marriage was hopeless, and here, she's now beginning to give up on the relationship. There isn't much to be said about the chorus that we didn't already talk about previously. Before we transition to the bridge, we have to look at the transition from the second chorus to the bridge visually, I mean. A single marigold seed packet surrounded by all the words spoken beforehand. A marigold's symbolism is twofold. Its first symbolic meaning is the sun's warmth, light, and joy. However, marigolds also mean death and remembrance. This single marigold has several meanings. Firstly, Rose was thought of to be the sun, or Gumi's world. Because of the marigold's double meaning, it could be interpreted as Gumi mourning the death of her idea of Rose, her son, as the words lay around her, useless to try and fix the marriage or the relationship. Secondly, you can connect this marigold back to the skies forever gray part, connect it with marigold's second meaning to death to signify that the only way for the clouds to part for Gumi's own flower to grow is through the death of Gumi and Rose's relationship or marriage. Thirdly, connecting it with the crumpled pieces of paper, it could be implied Gumi is also throwing away this aspect of Rose, her son part, alongside all of the words Gumi wanted to say to Rose. Fourthly, there is no fourth one. On with the bridge. We'll be dividing this in two because it's actually pretty long.
It can't be helped, it's just a matter of when. If she just won't notice, then I'll take it on the chin. If our roots grow separate, if the roses stay dead, I can plant new seeds and plant tomorrow's flower bed.
Okay, so the visuals gave a lot of flowers, and also this is the last time you'll ever see Rose. This is it, guys. It's divorcing time. Well, it has been divorcing time since the start of the music video, but this is like when they actually separate. Rose is holding Gumi's hand as they walk together. Watching this, I realized that the only time I've seen them together, like on the same page, no pun intended, was on the very first shot of them. Even here, when they are supposed to be together, they're still not. Also, I do have one complaint about the music video. Could the artist just not draw the couple extra frames of feet switching? It's just 2 extra frames. I don't know how the artist was paid per illustration, but I assume they were charged a flat fee per image, so I assume it was like a budgeting issue or something. I don't know, but like, come on, you don't even have to change much. Rewatching this, they're not even going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. Wait, no, you 4 deviants. I'm not even. Let's look at the flowers. On Rose's side, we have calendula, pyrethrum, tulip, and scabiosa. On Gumi's side, we have the petunia, balsam,
and skunk.
Calendula symbolically, I couldn't find much. One website said it represents joy and gratitude. However, calendula is also a medicinal herb which can promote tissue growth and stop inflammation. Pyrethrum, I also had a hard time finding the symbols for this one, so I went with the painted daisy on the seed packet and assumed it was a daisy. I think it fits because one of the symbols that daisies represent are new beginnings. We're going to be skipping over tulips because we already defined what it was. And finally, there's scabiosa, a flower which can symbolize sorrow or death. Altogether, it paints a pretty picture. It implies that starting anew and letting go of this relationship will be better and healthier for the pair. It's tragic to say the least. There's also this yellow butterfly. I didn't notice this before, but there are a lot of butterflies attracted to Rose. Honestly, there's a whole lot more meaning which can be interpreted with the butterflies on Rose. Here's a quick theory about them. Color theory states that red is the color of both passion but also violence, since it's the same color as blood. Yellow is the color of joy but also sickness. Butterflies are often a symbol of rebirth. So with Rose leaving, it's a sign of new beginnings. She'll leave, and when she leaves, she'll take Gumi's joy and love, but also the toxicity and violence symbolized through the yellow and red that the relationship had. Over on Gumi's side, we know that Petunia is a symbol for anger and resentment. However, a balsam represents ardent, passionate love, and a stalkflower is representative of deep affection. I know those two basically mean the same thing, but what I'm trying to get at here is that Gumi as well as Rose are letting go and walking away from their feelings of anger and resentment towards each other, which is good, but also their love for one another, which isn't good, but is necessary for the two. I also completely forgot about the lyrics for a sec. Sorry, it gets really foggy when you experience peak. Anyways, the first two lines compare people leaving with the death and birth of flowers, almost sounding like a cope for Gumi. The fourth line is connected back all the way to the intro verse, as Gumi realizes Rose won't notice if Gumi does or doesn't bloom. This final line is also what I'd like to think is Gumi's second lowest point. And I'll say second lowest point because firstly, she is unsure if she can move past this, but also because we know her actual lowest point is coming up. The third line is unique. It's not spare me the truth, it's don't spare me the truth, which means Gumi is demanding the truth. There's a moment of silence before the first half of the bridge and the second, and I feel as though that silence is the truth Gumi wanted. The lack of a response, the need to hear that I love you and not being heard was more than enough for her to realize Gumi's relationship with Rose is done. Whilst the entire second part of the bridge is playing, the following flowers are shown in order: ivy, speedwell, thistle, ivy, lily of the valley, lily of the valley, lily of the valley, orchis, violet, everlasting, yew, orchis, and ilex. If we grab the first letter of each flower, we get the phrase, I still love you. We already know about ivy, lily of the valley, yew, and everlasting pea. Let's look at all the new plants. Speedwell represents healing, thistle represents strength, orchis represents fertility,
Violet represents devotion,
and ilex represents protection. All of these new plants really muddle the ground, since some of these new plants are toxic and some are not, as well as some specific families of these flowers are toxic and others aren't. Overall, this bouquet mixed with the lyrics really emphasizes the flurry of emotions, leading to her inevitable breakdown and crying. One thing I must say before I analyze the lyrics, Gumi starts crying in the outro, chorus, and bridge. I'm saying that now because it'll make sense when I analyze the second half of the bridge. At the second half of the bridge, Gumi wants what she said all the way back at the intro verse, which isn't that long ago, but this script is 16 pages long, so it feels like a long time ago. Funnily enough, the second half of the bridge contains the most amount of analogous connections to gardening. Roots growing separate, roses, at least the one symbolizing the marriage between Gumi and Rose, planting new seeds, and penning, I think that's a word, tomorrow's flower bed. I have a couple of things to say about them. Firstly, it's Gumi preparing to move on from Rose. That's the general of what Gumi is trying to say. Secondly, paired with the buildup of the music and the bouquet and the lack of poetry reference, Gumi is no longer trying to connect with her Rose. Gumi is thinking about gardening as a way to cope with the immediate pain of losing her partner. No longer is she looking for those three small words. Rose is fully gone now, and Gumi has to face it no matter what.
And it feels so stupid 'cause you feel the same. And when I water the roses, I can trust you to stay. So here I lay 'neath the shimmering moon, just a love-struck fool. What do I do but wait for you?
So, as stated before, not much can be said anymore about the chorus that hasn't been said in the previous two choruses, but the weight of the words and the emotions could truly be felt the most here when accompanied with the crumpled piece of paper and crying Gumi, still holding Kerworm. We then see this piece of paper with black ink violently splayed on the side. It honestly looks like a blood splatter, which could signify the death of Gumi's relationship, but this piece of paper was seen all the way at the back before the first verse was shown. Gumi was trying to write a letter to Rose, but Gumi ultimately decided not to. The words are scattered on the ground, there's no point anymore. The fact that this paper was shown at the beginning meant that this was always the case. Gumi was just in denial. Poor Gumi. Don't cry, girl. It's okay. It's okay. I said stop crying. The outro was simply a repeat of the bridge, but without Rose this time, and Gumi is still crying. Gumi saying so sure of the truth instead of don't spare me the truth is sad because up until the first half of the bridge, Gumi was hoping the relationship could be fixed despite seeming dejected. She just needed Rose's words, her affirmations to keep the relationship going, to bloom again. But Gumi knows now that won't happen. Despite all this, the last two lines are actually hopeful. No matter how much Gumi loved Rose, Gumi in the very last line of the song is willing to try and live without her. This doesn't just apply to marriage, but in any romantic relationship in general. Generally, relationships require some form of manual initiation. It's rare for relationships to start with love at first sight or something cheesy like that. And that initiation, turning it into the first building block of a foundation of a relationship you want with your partner, is expected. Once the love is established, both people are needed to keep the relationship afloat. The best way to figure out if the person you love loves you back, the only way to know is to not maintain it. If the person does reach out to you, then you know they love you. But if they don't, then they don't. Now, did these three talented musicians put this much thought into Water the Roses? Maybe? My first thought is, of course no. Like, I don't know how much thought they put into the lyrics. I mean, I know it's a lot, but like, surely not as much as what I thought of, right? Like, I don't want to hear anything from you three. The moment I know these unnamed flowers are also significant to the music video, I'm gonna faint. I can't. I just can't. My Corpman brain is too small for this. You three are human, right? Right? You added some of this just because it's cool, right? Also, I can't prove it, but I know damn well they rushed out Queen of Venus. Who the hell puts regular audio of your camping trip on a mixtape?
Stuff I can candidly sample in my music later.
Sorry, it's just this video took way too long to make, mainly because I got a job and graduated animation school within that time frame. They were not kidding when they said the course would be intense. Listen to Flavor Foley, people. Their channel's in the description and in the top right corner. The script went through 3 rewrites. The first one was just too long and unnecessarily detailed. The second one connected the song back to the 7 stages of grief, but some stages fit out of order and some stages just aren't there, period. I think at the end of the music video, Gumi just starts the upward turn, but we don't get to see her fully recover from the divorce. It's only implied she'll try to move on. Something I also want to say is that I don't think I'll be analyzing any other Flavor Foley's work. My reasons are twofold. One, I don't want to leech off these beautiful artists. I think each person should come to their own conclusions with their music. Something, death of the author, something. It's just that I liked Water the Roses so much that I had to make a music video about it. It was just that good. 2, this video was supposed to be made and uploaded in and around the same time I asked them if I could make this video in the first place, and because it's been a long time, my music tastes have changed. That doesn't mean I don't listen to Flavor Foley anymore. I still do. It's not that I don't listen to Flavor Foley as much in comparison to other music artists I listened to recently, such as Wisp, Below Ground, Loser 64, Cry Out Loud. These past few months have not been kind to me. Also, I have a Ko-Fi. My job doesn't pay me much and I could really do with a change of scenery from my current home. If you want to support me, I'll leave a link in the description or you can find it in my about page. Anyways, remember everyone, everybody wants to build, but nobody wants to do maintenance. Kurt Vonnegut. The name's Corpman, Henry Corpman, and I love you all. I'll see you when I do. By the way, I'm not killing myself. Of each song in Cardiac... shit. Okay. Lock in. We are locked the fuck in. We see this inclination to express affection within the first second of the video. The first 3 letters of the first 3 flowers shown to us are Ivy, Lily of the Valley, and you. Fuck me in the ass. Okay, locked in. We see in the intro verse of the song that divorce had been a long time coming to this couple, mainly reinforced with the first half of the song, where Gumi treats the idea of the marriage falling apart with apathy, connecting it with the second motherfucker. Why did I formatted it in the worst possible way possible. Oh god, okay. I'm locked in. See, I'm kind of the goat. Although I refer to myself as a jellyfish, I'm kind of the goat, so I can do this. I can do this. I can read what I write. I can read, I can write. You can't read, you can't write. If you would, you'd be a YouTuber. Yeah. Tangling the roots in a fuck me. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill the person who wrote this. Ever since World War I, poppies have been fuck off, you cunt! First off, sucks! Shit, holy shit, my throat is burning. Like, it's like actually burning. I reread the script beforehand to make sure that it was like, it grammatically flowed easily together. First off, it doesn't even grammatically flow easily together. But like, after I finished like, test reading it, like my throat is absolutely burning. I shouldn't do this in one take, but like it's better to record it all now, so like I just have to focus on the editing part rather than, you know, working on this in like slowly. I want to get this video out as soon as possible. I just need to talk about this music video. Fucking love it. It's like second only to Lost Kitten.